Well, the Democrats could lose the House, admitted White House Secretary Robert Gibbs on Sunday. A dour start to the week for Democrats and for the president, who is crisscrossing the nation right now in town hall meetings trying to sell his agenda. What does the president say about jobs? The census is wrapping up, but Wall Street is hiring. Is that good news? Will that get Dems votes? And what about that Massachusetts decision on the so-called Defensive Marriage Act, DOMA? Is it smart for the DOJ to appeal or not? Sharon Engel spoke to the Nevada RNC this weekend. She's not changing her style for votes, she says. Would we want more Democrats to talk like that? And with Glenn Beck reaching into people's homes via Fox to get them to another August rally in D.C., what are the Democrats up against when they go into their districts for summer recess? Coming up, we speak with Nation contributor JoAnn Wypijewski, who is author of Outside a Tea Party, and she's currently on the course of a journey across the United States, talking politics.
Is the House in jeopardy?
I think there's no doubt there are enough seats in play that could cause Republicans to gain control. There's no doubt about that. This will depend on strong campaigns by Democrats. And again, I think we've got to take the issues to them. Do you want to put into the speakership of the House a guy who thinks that the financial calamity is tantamount to an ant? The guy who's the ranking member of the Energy and Commerce Committee, Joe Barton, started his congressional testimony of the CEO of BP by apologizing not to the people in the Gulf, but to the CEO. I think that's a perfect window, not into what people are thinking, but the way they would govern.
All right, well, what do you think, JoAnn? You've been traveling around the country, you've been all over. A, do you think Gibbs is right? And B, do you think this kind of talking point that I think is the same one they've been at for the last 4 weeks is going to fly?
History obviously says that they're going to do very badly. Every president, 2 years on, tends to do very badly in the House, in the Senate, in the congressional midterm elections. So I suspect they're going to do badly. I don't know how badly. I'm not a prognosticator. I'm not particularly interested in that. What I do think is really striking, if you travel the country, is the tremendous vacuousness of the politics and the tremendous crisis and irrationality, really, of the two. The politics and the situation.
So we're having another conversation about the madness of American politics.
Well, it is. I mean, but it is, and I think we don't pay enough attention to it. Katrina, back 2005, remember, it seems so long ago. Katrina really ripped the facade off. Yeah. The facade off American prosperity and compassion. And now the BP oil spill has ripped the facade off American ingenuity. So we're not smart. And we're not kind. And it seems all of the country is pretty lost in the way the Gulf is. I mean, suffering, seemingly defenseless against corruption, greed, incompetence. So all of it seems to be going down the tubes. And if you're traveling around just talking to people, you don't get a particularly sunny sense of the time. And you certainly don't get the sense that any party has any answer for any of it.
Well, the Republicans are certainly trying to tap into exactly that mood. Take a look at this most recent ad from Sharon Engel up against Harry Reid in Nevada. So you've got sort of Holocaust references with the choice of music. You've got 30s references with the images, tapping into the mood you're talking about.
Tapping into the mood, but people know it's not the 30s. And the problem is that I'm not sure that depression is the... I mean, for Sharon Engel, it's fine for her to evoke a depressing reality. It's odd that she has absolutely no answer to that depressing reality, but it's also the fact that we're not in the 30s. So the nature of the crisis is a little different. I mean, yes, there are 10 million people who are unemployed and receiving no check at all. There's 1 million people, I think more, who are unemployed in the last 2 months. There are expected long lines of unemployed and long lines of foreclosures for the next many years. But the face of decline, the face of crisis, is not so much that face. It's a kind of hidden freak out. So the house might look fine, but inside the people are broke. All their assets do not equal their debt. And this is the reality all over. The middle class hollowed out, the working class hollowed out. So I'm not sure this sort of, I don't know that this is, I feel your pain. You know, when
she says an answer is coming, the answer is coming,
yeah, well,
but clearly it's coming.
What is the answer? Is the answer a mass jobs program? That should be what it is, right? I suppose. I mean, if you want a 30s, if you want a 30s, if you say you've got a 30s problem, then maybe you should have a 30s solution. But Sharon Engel says no unemployment. That's coddling people. That's making people just not run out and find those jobs that are right out there. So either there should be a mass jobs program, or she should be advocating just mass giveaways of cash for those to unleash that that not opportunistic spirit, that entrepreneurial spirit.
But she's against both of those things.
But she's against both of those things. So it is. I mean, it's a cliche to say it's the party of no, but it is the party of no, and it certainly has foot soldiers on the ground. But I feel that there is more alienation than there is enthusiasm.
Take a listen to what George Osborne, the new Chancellor of the Exchequer, the equivalent of the Treasury Secretary, had to say to Fareed Zakaria this weekend on CNN about election strategies in Europe. Take a look.
What would you say to the Tea Party movement in the United States?
Well, I'm not going to be handing out advice to the Republican Party, but I would make a general observation. The best place to win elections is from the centre, and that there are good conservative arguments based on conservative principles about how you reduce carbon emissions, or how you increase social justice in a society, or how you increase social mobility, and that the Conservative family should not be afraid of advancing those arguments. And when we do advance them, we can challenge our opponents on territory which they've always thought of as theirs.
About 30 seconds, JoAnn, but that sounds terribly reasonable. It doesn't work here.
No, I don't think it'll work here, because you've got a Republican Party that is based on some premises which can't be contradicted. It can't suddenly become rational on homosexuality. It can't suddenly become rational on abortion. It can't suddenly become rational on taxation. These are the fundaments of the party, and you've got two sides. You've got the wealthy old Republicans, and you've got the populist right-wing Republicans who are playing their role to be in fear, to react the way people in fear do, to find an enemy. And you've got the ruling class, which wants its low taxes, which wants its perks, which wants its corruption.
We got the picture.
There is no real middle grade.
JoAnn, thanks so much for coming in. You can find JoAnn's work at our website, grittv.org. We'll put up some links.